Hello, my name is Pam Machuga. I am a park ranger at Cuyahoga Valley National Park, and I'm here to share a little bit with you about how to build an interpretive pop-up. And we're going to start by going back to what our goal is. So for this pop-up specifically, it is about community. And several of us were having conversations about how divisive it is in communities today. And so we thought, wouldn't it be kind of cool if we could explore positivity in the community through the lens of the resources in Cuyahoga Valley National Park? So what we did is we came up with a goal, inspiring positivity in our communities. I think positivity is a word. Perhaps it is not. It is now. And then the next thing we do is we come up with what an essential theme question would be. Traditionally, interpreters work with interpretive theme statements. So this is a little bit different. Instead of me as an interpreter sharing with you the tangible resource and the intangibles that I think are most important, framing it as a question opens this up to a conversation and hopefully invites the visitor to find in the resource what is most inspiring and relevant to their daily lives. So the essential theme question we came up with is what makes a community successful? Then we wanted to talk about who our audience is, and our audience is going to be families, and the location. So we'll be setting this pop-up up in Cleveland and Akron for underserved populations. That said, this pop-up could be set up within the national park as well. So we're going to go about building our pop-up based on our goal and our essential theme question. With an interpretive pop-up, we try to make sure we have multiple times people can be engaged. So we like to come up with what is called a green level question. This is to catch people right off the bat. This is an easy question. We call them Oracle. The only right answer comes from a lived experience. So anyone should be able to answer this dialogic question. The one we came up with is, where do you feel most at home? So relating home to communities, but not being prescriptive about where do you live, right? So instead, where do you feel at home? Perhaps you feel at home in nature. I feel at home on a dirt trail. Maybe you feel at home when you're with family, friends, but it's entirely up to you, and it's a question that anyone can answer. Then we highlight some of the resources of Cuyahoga Valley. So we decided to look at different communities. We have meadows, we have forests, we have wetlands, and we have rivers. So on each of these little papers is a description of that community, and then we wanted to highlight an animal in each of those communities. And when we're working with families, especially with youth, we find that they really, really like to learn about the animals. Then we want to give our pop-up some depth, right? We want to have some height. We want to be engaging to people who are way over there and wondering if they should come over and talk to us. So we add some props. For example, for the deer, we added an antler because this is super sturdy. Kids are going to touch. Kids are going to pick up things. This one's going to be hard to break, right? The skull that we had out, that would be a little bit easier. And the antler doesn't take up a lot of room. Because we work with youth, we also like to use puppets. This allows us to have this over our hand, talk a little bit about the fawn, why we have the spots, the fact that they don't have a scent to them. Then we're going to go over to our wetlands. The prop we chose is a snapping turtle shell because in Cuyahoga Valley National Park, we have a beautiful beaver marsh in the southern part of the park that is one of our most visited wetlands. And if you go there, you're definitely going to see some snapping turtles swimming around. And then again, we've got the turtle. Where's your home? Where's the turtle's home? Right in this shell, right? Then we have the river, and so we have a mink over here. We've got our beaver puppet over here. Now, we like to have multiple engagement touches. If I had a little bit more than one table, instead of seeing this last technique that I'm going to share with you, I would have a little paper or a dry erase board that has some pictures of things that you could do to help the communities at Cuyahoga Valley National Park. They might be as simple as, making sure you pick up your trash. making sure that, you're not picking the flowers. Maybe you want to come back and work with us on pulling invasives, lots of different things. And people can check them so we can get a really good idea of what people are interested in. So we might be able to gear them in that direction, and they might see some ideas that they didn't know about before. Okay, and I'm going to share one last technique. This is a yellow level technique. If this is green and anyone can answer it and they're comfortable answering it, this one is going to require people to be a little bit more thoughtful about it. So I want to read you a quote. In every community, there is work to be done. In every nation, there are wounds to heal. In every heart, there is the power to do it. M. Williamson. How can you support your local community? And then what we ask people to do is write on a sticky little piece of paper here and post it up on the dry erase board. So I'll read you some of our examples. Bring an elderly neighbor food. Donate clothing to Haven of Rest. They work with our homeless shelters in Akron. Mow a neighbor's lawn. So the hope is that not only do you have an opportunity to share some of the things that you do, that people can see what others are doing and be inspired to do that in their community. And if we're doing this well, it's not just the park ranger or the naturalist or the historian talking about the resource, it's people talking to us and talking with each other, right? That is where we really learn and grow. This entire process is evaluative. So when we start with our goal and our essential theme question, we make sure that we bring that back to a larger team. We also post it on our common learning portal, which in the National Park Service, it allows us to post an item and get feedback from across the country. It's called the Interpretive Feedback Collaborative, I believe. If you're not part of the National Park Service, we can invite you to the Common Learning Portal as well. So we'll get feedback, and then we'll take it out in the field and we'll test it. So if we take this out and no one is answering our green level question or our yellow level questions, we can simply change the question. It's easy to use things, to move things in and out here, right? And hopefully it is a way for us to engage in conversations about issues that matter today through the lens of our resource. As interpreters, we want to be relevant. And at the end of the day, we want to inspire people, not just to care for our resource, but I think to care for each other. So this is one way that we attempt to do just that. So on behalf of the National Park Service, thank you for allowing me to share this pop-up with you. And I look forward to talking to you about what you can do at your site to inspire the future generations of America.